Welcome to Inside Asia, along with my co-host, Thanong Khanthong. As you know, a few days ago, we have a brand new cabinet. All of them have sworn in front of His Majesty the King. What would they do in the next few days? I have Thanong to comment along with me. What is your take?
Yes, Kavi, I think it's rather a big disappointment, from the public, given the fact that the Pheu Thai party has won quite a huge margin, in Parliament, 266 MP seats, and I think the public expect the party to really, come up with a cabinet that really gives the impression that it can do its job appropriately to meet the challenges of the big issues ahead. Because right now, as His Majesty the King noted, in his speech before, to the cabinet, and he said that the world these days has a lot of confusion. Thailand has less confusion, and so I would like you to make our country a good place to live in this world. This world has much confusion already. I hope Thailand is peaceful. That's the speech of His Majesty the King, given to the new cabinet members, meaning that even though inside our country we all know that we are experiencing sharp polarization, in the public opinions, we have also the political crisis. But unlike most other countries in the world, we don't have any economic crisis.
I see.
Right now, there are confusions in the world. That means that with the turmoil in Europe, right now, Greece, you name it, Ireland or Portugal have already been under the IMF support program, and the crisis is now spreading out to other countries such as Spain, Italy, and France. It means that the economy of the world is not going to be good.
So external factors will impact directly on the performance of Thai economy now and in the future.
Definitely, because the Thai economy has been closely integrated with the global economy. And if you look at the United States, stock prices have been falling sharply by 2,000 points or 15% over the past 2 weeks, given the fact that Standard & Poor's has downgraded the U.S. debts, for the first time. This is quite historic, and that has created a wave of panic selling, in the stocks. And at the same time, the U.S. Fed has maintained that it's going to keep interest rate at this very close to 0% over the next 2 years. It means that the economy is in bad shape.
Okay, let me ask you this. When you look at the new cabinet lined up, what is your judgment over the economic team? You have Commerce Minister Thanong, for instance.
I think it looks like a very shallow cabinet to me, because you don't see some big names out there. Even though Thanong, who is going to serve as Deputy Prime Minister and also Commerce Minister, will serve as head, of this economic team, but I don't think he's a heavyweight. At the moment, we really need somebody, with a really very good understanding of the macro issue. I don't think that Thanong's background is strong enough in the macro economic issues. He comes from the finance side of the business and used to serve as president of the Stock Exchange of Thailand. But, I have respect to him. But then I think that at this time, we are facing the challenges, of the global economic turmoil that requires somebody with a really very strong, very highly respected stature in order to preside over the management of the Thai economy.
So how is the choice of Virachai as finance minister then?
Yes, Kun Thirachai Phuphanat he is a former central banker, and he just resigned from the Securities and Exchange Commission. His background, yes, he been supervising the financial institutions, and he has supervised the capital market development. He might not be a macro man, his background is more from the accounting side, but he has a very good understanding of the global financial system. I think he's qualified to do the job. But overall, Kun Thirachai can't produce miracle. We need the whole cabinet team that really works in tandem, works together. Because if you take a look at Kun Yingluck leadership, she's still a novice. I mean, she hasn't proven any track record. She's been in politics only for a couple of weeks, and then was nominated, as head of the Pheu Thai, and then came the election, and then she won it, and then almost all of a sudden, she became Thailand's first female prime minister at the age of 44, without any political track record. That means that she needs a very strong cabinet team to support her. And if you take a look at the list of the cabinet, it looks like the Pheu Thai is trying to pay back, to the MPs who have led to the victory, in the election.
So do you think this government will last for some time, 100 days, 200 days?
It seems to me that this looks very temporary. It looks like an ad hoc cabinet that will come in for, say, like 3 months or 6 months to do a particular job. After that, there might be some restructuring. It might be a payback cabinet, for the Pheu Thai party.
Have you noticed that this cabinet have 5 deputy prime minister, 2 more than the previous government?
Yes.
It's just follow your argument that a new prime minister Yingluck need deputy prime minister who have the experience to supervise her and give her some moral suggestion, especially ahead of the cabinet meeting. And also one point I have to make, about Yingluck. Because of her lack of experience, that could be her strength. Because she would listen more, she would weigh judgment carefully. So don't estimate her. So I think we have to watch carefully. So the economic factors would be very, very pivotal to determine whether this government will last or not. And the new cabinet came at the time when the global economy is in such a bad shape.
You're right. We have too many deputy prime minister. Firstly, Kun Yongyut Vichaydit, but he's also served as interior minister. Okay, and then police captain Chalermyu Bamrung. Okay, he's going to be in charge of securities or mob control, maybe probably afterwards. And then police general Govit Watana, who used to serve, in the interior minister during the previous administration. And Kun Thanong, okay, he's concurrently served as commerce minister, so he's going to be in charge of the economic management. And lastly, Kun Chompon Silapa Acha from the Chat Thai Chat Patana party. All of these deputy prime ministers posts, will report directly to Kun Yingluck or not.
They will give recommendation. I think these 5 deputy prime ministers are there to take care of important issues. And I think they will submit recommendations to her ahead of the cabinet meeting so that she will be able to conduct, if there is any debate in the futures in the parliament, these people will come in. That's my
Interestingly, after the swearing-in ceremony, Kun Yingluck gave an interview to the reporters. She said as follows: we need at least 6 months, before the evaluations, as the administration of the country is a big issue, and we need time to understand the problems and prepare the policies.
I disagree with her. Thailand cannot afford 6 months' time. This is the job that you have to come in right away. World economy is in trouble. Thailand cannot wait 6 months. I have to give her only 1 month. Why? Because Thailand is very dynamic. We are in a very transitional period. This is why I was so surprised with the choice.
I agree. I too. I was surprised with this comment that she said that she would like 6 months to study the issues, to prepare for the policies. Because if you look at the policies campaign of the Pheu Thai, it sounds like as if they had been planning about this all along.
That's right.
And the honeymoon period for this new government, I think 1 month, I think too short. I would say 3 months. The public is going to give the new administration, under Kun Yingluck, 3 months to really do her job and to fulfill the campaign, all the campaign promises.
Of course, honeymoon period would be better, but understanding the country's problems and its solution is something else. I think you don't need any time at all because you are the new government. You should know what exactly to tackle. Otherwise, the voter will not give you such a mandate. I think there's no time. You just have to come in and work it out quickly. Honeymoon is a different stories together. And the reason why I said I was surprised because the choice of the foreign minister, Kun Surapong. Yes, I mean I was so surprised because he was very notorious as a big supporter of Thaksin, very close associate, and has done everything to promote Thaksin. So it created problems, you know. This is a personal choice for personal agenda or for the country or the national agenda. So, of course, you know, we will have to give him time. Well, he has given into saying that he have to study the issue regarding whether to revoke, you know, the banning of Thaksin's passport. I mean, as long as Thaksin is a fugitive, you can't allow him to hold a passport. I think the second issue is also very important because I think the foreign minister has to consider whether he would move on behalf of Thaksin or not to open up the access to foreign country. You know, we have denied him entry visa. So that is the second point. And there are many other nitty-gritty. So I think his first task is to establish confidence among the policymaker in the foreign ministry because you have to rely on them because they are very complicated issue lining up. I don't want to mention you have Thai-Cambodian issue, you have ASEAN summit coming up, very, very important. Not to mention in the next few weeks you will have United General Assembly where the Yingrak has to meet world leaders, what issue to tackle. So I think that is very important.
How do you think Kun Surapong, the new foreign minister, will handle the Thai-Cambodian issue?
Well, I think the first few months there would be some spectacular outcome that will discredit the previous government, saying that, you see, we have a better approach. But when it comes down to hardcore issue of national sovereignties on demarcation line, it will be all the same. So there will be a lot of spinning news about the improvement, dramatic improvement on Thai-Cambodian issues. So don't be surprised, but you have to read into it deep, deep, deep inside whether there were real progress or not. This is about national sovereignty. It's not about public relations. So I think Surapong has to be very, very careful. He needs the expertise of the bureaucrat. And I think if he listens, it's very, very useful. But I doubt it because this is the choice of Thaksin. It reflects the close personal relation, you see. And everybody expects him to follow Thaksin's guidelines and direction. We will see. And I think I have to be fair to him, you know, but we have his record, you know, ahead of time. He has very good relation for decades with Thaksin, you know.
And interestingly, he said that he didn't expect it to get the appointment. He told the new reporters that I've never thought I would get this post. I just knew about the appointment on Tuesday evening.
I doubt that.
The swearing-in ceremony took place on Thursday, so he just knew about it 2 days, before.
I doubt that because I think this is the choice close to Thaksin's heart. So that is why Thaksin kept everybody guessing, Plot Prasop, Sarod, all kinds of names pops up.
Chongkittavorn was also
yes, also, yeah. But in the end, Surapong was his choice, and it's truly indicated that Thaksin really wants his man in this most important job because he has an important task for himself.
Okay, let me go back a little bit to Kun Thirachai and on the management of the economy. I think that the external factors would become more crucial as I said, with the financial turmoil in the United States and also in Europe, there might be complications in the capital movements into and out of this country. So he will have to manage the economy real well, in terms of capital inflows and also the capital outflows. And secondly, since with the turmoil, there will be less demand for the Thai manufacturing exports.
Yes.
It means that we will have to rely more, on domestic demand rather than on the export, to drive growth. With the inflationary pressure that's already promised, of the big populist policies, it will boil down to two choices. Whether the government, will have to try to stabilize the economy or try to grow the economy. At this point, I think the priority should be on stabilizing the economy.
But I think the government will choose the second choice.
Yes, that will be quite a contradictory move, given the trend that we are facing, rising inflation, higher cost of living, and something, will have to be done, in order to help us, muddle through this very uncertain period that is facing Thailand.
Yeah, but that would be the priorities because that would respond to the campaign's pledge made during the election. So I think that was important. Of course, future problems will come. We can wait. So within the next 3 months, as you said, if it's honeymoon and there's no spectacular progress, then it would be very difficult.
If you look at the major campaign issues that the Pheu Thai has promised, let's go take a look at them, one by one. First is the 300 baht minimum wage.
Yes.
I think the grassroots people, particularly the voters in the Northeast, they are now waiting, for this implementation as soon as possible.
Now, yes.
And at the same time, the factory owners, the entrepreneurs
are crying out.
They are crying out that if they have to pay that much amount of money, and they might have to go bankrupt because of the sudden rising cost, of the minimum wage of more than 100%.
Yes, I have some bad news to tell you. Some of the SME owned by Japanese and Taiwanese have already moving out because they're going to Indonesia, which is the largest benefactors of rising wage in Thailand. So I think this is the trend. So the government has to be very, very careful in carry out this policy. Certainly, increase income, increasing wage, nobody can argue against that. And the other point that you have not made is that, with a salary of 15,000.
Yeah, this is the second point. The 15,000 baht per month in salary. I think the administration will start with the civil servants. So they will have to raise this amount. So this will put on the fiscal burden. Yeah, the budgetary will have budgetary burdens. I think since the pay scale of the private sector and the government sector is now different. So the government would like to push forward this higher salary scale on the part of the government sector first, hopingly that the private sector, will try to match this.
Pheu Thai government is very lucky, because the previous government has left quite a large reserve, the 13th ranking in the world. So they can have some money to spend if this is what Pheu Thai parties want, but not for long.
And then number 3 is the pledging scheme, rice pledging scheme, for the farmers, for the rice farmers. 15,000 baht, per ton, for white rice, and 20,000 baht per ton for homari or jasmine rice.
Yes.
I think the voters, particularly the grassroots voters, are looking forward to the government to fulfill these campaign promises, as quickly as possible. But another point that should be mentioned also, the proposal to reduce the corporate income tax from 30% at the moment to 23%, because the government, would like to stimulate foreign investment or domestic investment. But this will result in a loss of tax revenue from the government, by 120 billion baht a year.
I see. So what would be the appropriate strategy to put all together these programs? So what do you think should be the appropriate strategy?
I can't see as yet, how the government, will manage the country forward, by promising so much. At the same time, given the fact that the fiscal burden, will come back to haunt Thailand later on. The Bank of Thailand has been expressing is concerned that the inflationary pressure is now, having a big impact on the Thai economy. And if the government keeps on spending this huge amount of
so
money,
what is the inflation rate at the moment?
It's going to like 4%, and next year somebody says that the policy rate of the Bank of Thailand might have to exceed 4%. Right now it's 3.25%. So the inflation, will hurt all the people, particularly, the low-income people.
Yes, because price index has already hyped up, several percent. Now you have a bowl of kway teow is 40, 50 baht already. There's one more area which I think is very pivotal, that is energy.
Okay.
Energy demands in Thailand is still very huge. There's no cutback.
And the energy minister is Kun Pichai Nariptapan.
I think there will be change in energy policies, because you look at the overall, the government will put more focus and might change the previous government policy on nuclear energies. And I think this is one big issue to look at.
I'm not sure how the new administrations, will initiate the energy policy, but oil prices have been falling down quite significantly. They used to stay at more than $100 per barrel, and right now it's about $85 a barrel. And so that has somewhat helped to calm the inflationary fear. But then the new energy minister will have to, instead of going to nuclear, because if you look at countries like Japan or Germany, they have already made a big announcement that they would phase out nuclear energy over the next decades.
What you will see is that there will be reviews whether this policy will be applicable or not. Certainly, Fukushima incident has caused great concerns across the region, but that would not be the reason to stop. For example, Vietnam has already gone ahead with 2 nuclear power plants. I think in the case of Thailand, there will be a lot of objection. And I think with the new government, Pheu Thai, there certainly will be reviews, and I think they have to take into many consideration. And I think there will be much bolder whether they will take whatever decision, whether to revert the previous government or not. I don't think they will take the decision by the previous government. Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. It's very difficult to initiate or to invest in new power projects in Thailand. If you want to build a new dam, hydroelectric power dam, it would be very difficult now, because it will run against the environmentalists and the local people. And also, if you want to invest in a coal power plant too, you are going to face resistance too. So right now, Thailand is facing a big dilemma. You mentioned about nuclear power plants, because I think that's that possibility is also even more remote, because even to invest in a coal power plant is already very difficult, running against the protest among the community peoples, and also the community leaders are up in arms against this.
Yes, as you can see, the new government faced many challenges, particularly on the domestic fronts. Former President Khanthong always said it's economy is stupid, and I think economic factors, standards of living of Thai people, that is a very important indicator whether this government will last. Certainly, the government came in with a very strong mandate, and it's economic factors that will decide the fate of this government. Certainly, issue related to energies and foreign policy is very also important. Why? Because, as you know, Thaksin is a key person that foreign ministry has to, I would describe as undo. But it will be very difficult because of the situation, because of the developments in global politics and what previous government has done.
I think we would have to see and give Kun Yingluck some more time, so that she can really perform her job, as Thailand's first female Prime Minister.
I think she can make history if she knows exactly that she is right here and that she has an important task to perform for the nation. I think if that is the case, then she can make history. It depends on her totally. Well, that's all the time we have. I hope you enjoyed the program. Good night. สวัสดีครับ
สวัสดีครับ